Rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine appeared in court in the Dominican Republic today.
Poner la sentencia para septiembre 25. Ya me hice culpable.
The first thing you need to know about Tekashi 6ix9ine is this. He was never meant to blend in. Think about it, rainbow-colored hair, a body covered in tattoos that scream, "Look at me," and a voice that could turn a whisper into a hurricane. If the entertainment world had a ranking dedicated to stars tied to prison bars, 6ix9ine would be the king of that strange empire, sitting on a throne made of legal documents and broken record contracts. Today, as news breaks of his court appearance in the Dominican Republic, the world is once again reminded of a story that feels part hip-hop fairy tale, part crime thriller, and part cautionary tale. But how did a Brooklyn kid named Daniel Hernandez transform into one of the most polarizing figures in music history? And more importantly, how did the same empire he built with millions of dollars, mansions, and supercars collapse so quickly, landing him in handcuffs instead of arenas? Let's rewind the tape. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It is free and help us bring you enjoyable content. And of course, watch till the end. Before he was Tekashi 6ix9ine, the troll king of hip-hop, he was Daniel Hernandez, a kid from Bushwick, Brooklyn. Life wasn't easy. His father was murdered when he was just 13, and his mother worked tirelessly to make ends meet. Pain shaped him, but instead of letting it break him, he turned it into fuel. The question was, what would he do with that fire? Daniel didn't start with platinum records or designer cars. He started like many New York dreamers, hustling, working at a deli, and looking for a way out. But even then, he stood out. By 2017, Tekashi 6ix9ine had figured something out that many artists never quite grasp. Attention is the new currency. You don't have to be the best rapper if you can be the most talked about one. His plan wasn't subtle. It was loud, colorful, and impossible to ignore. Rainbow hair? Check. 6ix9ine tattooed across his entire body? Double check. An aggressive scream rap style that felt like it was built for viral chaos? Triple check. When his debut single, Gummo, dropped in October 2017, it didn't just make waves, it was a tsunami. Suddenly, Tekashi wasn't just a rapper. He was a cultural phenomenon. And at just 22, he signed a $7.5 million recording contract, snagged a $4.9 million headphone endorsement, and pulled in over $10 million from his debut album Dummy Boy. It was the kind of meteoric rise that could make even seasoned industry veterans dizzy. But here's the thing about meteors. They shine bright, they burn fast, and eventually, they crash. Imagine being in your early 20s and suddenly having access to the kind of wealth most people only dream about. That was Tekashi's reality. His Instagram turned into a highlight reel of excess. Lamborghini Urus, Rolls-Royce Ghost, Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, and jewelry so expensive it looked like he raided a treasure chest. He filmed himself tossing stacks of cash into the air like confetti, declaring, "Money rules everything." And honestly, for a while, it did. But while his followers cheered him on, something more dangerous was happening behind the scenes. That lifestyle wasn't just fueling his ego, it was convincing him he was untouchable. Rules? Laws? Consequences? Those were for other people. Tekashi was building a kingdom, and he believed he couldn't be toppled. But kings who ignore the cracks in their castle walls eventually watch everything crumble. By November 2018, Tekashi's star was burning brighter than ever, but the crash came fast and hard. Federal authorities arrested him on racketeering, weapons, and conspiracy charges. Suddenly, the man who once bragged about his invincibility was facing a minimum of 47 years in prison. The hip-hop world was stunned. Was this the end of Tekashi 6ix9ine? Fans asked themselves whether the rainbow-haired rapper who once trolled everyone, from fellow artists to entire fan bases, had finally been out-trolled by reality itself. But then came the twist no one saw coming. In court, Tekashi faced a choice: stay loyal to his gang associates and face decades in prison, or cooperate with authorities and risk becoming hip-hop's ultimate pariah. We all know what happened next. Tekashi chose to testify, pointing fingers at his former Nine Trey allies. Overnight, he earned a new nickname, 6ix9ine. Memes flooded the internet. Artists who once collaborated with him cut ties. His street credibility evaporated. But here's the paradox. While many mocked him, millions were still watching. Tekashi had managed to turn even his downfall into entertainment. The question was no longer, will he survive this? But how long can he keep pulling this off? Here's where the cracks became obvious. Tekashi's brand was built on extremes: extreme wealth, extreme trolling, extreme drama. But extremes are exhausting, both for the artist and the audience. Over time, the novelty wore off. His music, while loud and energetic, began to feel repetitive. His legal troubles overshadowed his artistry. His Instagram battles became predictable. Slowly but surely, the tide began to turn. Fans who once cheered him on started asking, was 6ix9ine ever really about the music, or was it all just theater? Without the constant shock factor, his empire started to lose its shine. Why did Tekashi rise so fast, and why do we still talk about him today? The answer lies in the psychology of trolling. Tekashi understood that outrage is contagious. If he insulted another rapper, dyed his hair neon green, or flaunted millions in cash, it would guarantee headlines. Every hater was secretly a promoter, every critic another amplifier for his brand. But there's a catch. Trolling is like eating sugar. It gives you a quick high, but it doesn't sustain you forever. Eventually, people crave something deeper. For Tekashi, that depth never fully materialized, and it left him vulnerable when the spectacle started to fade. What can we learn from Tekashi 6ix9ine's story? First, fame without discipline is a dangerous cocktail. He had the world at his feet, millions of dollars, a massive platform, a loyal fan base, but he treated it like a game. Second, ego blinds. Tekashi believed he was untouchable, and that arrogance pushed him toward choices that even he couldn't escape. Finally, controversy may buy attention, but it doesn't guarantee longevity. If you want to build something that lasts, it needs roots, not just fireworks. So here we are today. Tekashi 6ix9ine, once hailed as hip-hop's most notorious troll, is back in a courtroom, this time in the Dominican Republic. The images feel familiar. The rainbow hair dulled, the bravado shaken, the world once again watching. But this time, the energy is different. He's no longer the unstoppable force of 2017, nor the headline-dominating snitch of 2019. He's a man caught in the cycle of his own making, a reminder that when you live by controversy, you often die by it too. Yet still, the curiosity remains. People still tune in. They still debate. They still ask, is Tekashi finished, or does he have one more comeback left in him? Tekashi 6ix9ine's story isn't just about one rapper, it's a mirror for our culture. We live in an age where fame is often louder than talent, where attention can be more valuable than respect, and where the line between art and scandal is blurrier than ever. Tekashi mastered that system. He hacked it. He played it better than almost anyone. But the same system that lifted him up is now the one that keeps pulling him back down. His court appearance in the Dominican Republic is just the latest chapter in a saga that feels both tragic and fascinating. So, what should you take away from all this? That chasing fame at any cost comes with a bill you can't avoid. That living for controversy may make you unforgettable, but not unbreakable. And that sometimes the brightest flames burn out the fastest. Tekashi 6ix9ine will go down in history, not just as a rapper, but as a symbol of what happens when shock value meets self-destruction. Do you think 6ix9ine still has a chance at redemption, or is this truly the end of the rainbow-haired phenomenon who once trolled the world into submission? Drop your thoughts, share your take, and let's see if the King of Chaos can still spark one more conversation.